everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to the January vlog. We are starting yet another January vlog. I did this last year for 2025 and I really enjoyed it because I used this month and this vlog essentially to set out and start my year purposefully and well with my goals and all that kind of stuff. That is what we are going to be doing. I was considering doing 75 booked, but now that it is actually 2026, I am so not into that. I just want to go into this month gently and purposefully with my goals, of course, keeping them in mind, trying to achieve them, and then still just letting myself adjust to the new year, slowly get into it, that kind of a thing. Because this year, I really want to live a little bit more mindfully and gently and slowly, and also just pay attention to more things, romanticize my life a little bit more, because I've noticed, like, along with like everyone else in their entire lives, that every year we exist, things just seem to get a little bit more fast. Like, in my head, it should still be like September of last year. It should not be 2026 already. Like, the year just goes by so fast. Blink and you miss it. It is already January 6th. I finished my holiday hullabaloo vlog yesterday, and thinking back, like, I had the 24th of December to the 5th off of work, and it went by like that. So there are a number of different things that I want to do in my personal life that I want to try and like help this feeling of like, you know, life is going too fast kind of thing. I want to really just live and be aware of it, like aware of what I'm doing, and like, you know, every day is a little bit special in its own way, even if it's just a normal day, like that kind of a thing, because I'm terrified at how fast things are going. And I'm 28, I'm turning 29 this year. So life is going a little bit too quickly for me, and I need it to just slow down a little bit. And the only way I can do that is if I personally take time to just ease myself into things and not rush for goals, not rush for different things, all that kind of stuff. So I also want to potentially start fixing my sleep schedule a little bit, or I shouldn't say fixing, adjusting my sleep schedule. Words are very important, because I have just the worst sleep schedule ever. And it is to the point of like, okay, like I understand I am a person who definitely, I prefer being up really late at night, and I don't know what that stems from. Like, I've tried to, my therapist and I've talked about it a lot, but like, I don't know what that root is. I don't know if it's like something inherently rebellious in me, or just like stemming from my years as like a piano teacher while I was still in university. And then I would get home at like 9 p.m. and eat dinner, and then I'd be like, I want time to myself. And then I would stay up till like 3 a.m. And that kind of just leaked into my life now, right? So, and I still do that. Like, I still am up until ungodly hours. And my body's like, I still need 8 hours of sleep, bestie. And so I don't operate on a normal sleep schedule, normal, quote unquote. So I would like to adjust that a little bit, but that's probably something that I will work on further on. I'm not going to like make myself do it right at the beginning of the year. It might be February type situation that I do that, but I wanted to mention it, bring it up in case I decide to start adjusting it this month. Who's to say? Anyways, this month, my goals for reading, I have 6 of them. If you have not seen my reading journal video, go check that out, or you can go watch my Bookish Wrapped from last year, and that will talk through all of my different goals. So, the 2026 reading goals. Number 1, read 100 books. That's just a, number goal. But numbers 2 to 6 are things that I can do actionable every month and like make sure that I'm doing them, So number 2 is read 25 sci-fi books. So I would like to read a sci-fi book this month to get that off my list, maybe even 2, because 25 is a lot. It's more than 2 a month technically, so it's like 2.01 or whatever it is a month. I don't know, math. I also have number 3 is read 75 physical TBR books. So I've already got 1 down because I finished 1 book in 2026 so far, but it was a carryover from 2025. So we're starting fresh as of today. That book, by the way, was The Godcatcher by Aaron M. Evans, which is this little fella, and I rated it 3.5 stars. It was like fun D&D kind of situation. It was fun when I was reading it, but when I wasn't reading it, I didn't want to pick it up because there wasn't anything like pulling me towards it. So it was one of those reads, but I do recommend it if you're into D&D books, heist books, found family, dragons, kind of interesting political movements, but not really political. Like, I don't know, like it was interesting and well done. For a first book, Aaron, crazy. So I read that one, finished that one this year the first time. But yes, I want to read 75 physical TBR books because we are also on a goal to shrink my physical TBR down to 150 books before I allow myself to buy another book with a couple caveats. And those caveats are pre-orders that I've already made. So I have one pre-order for January coming in, but it's coming in at the very end of the month. And then Aardvark Book Box. If there's something that I really want in Aardvark Book Box, I am allowing myself to do so. I skipped December's book box because there wasn't really anything in there. And then January came around and there's 2 that I really wanted. So I was like, okay, I'm allowing myself to get 2 because I did skip December. So it like kind of evens out in my head. I don't know. So there are 3 books coming to me this month that I then have to, add to the TBR and then read off the TBR as well. I think we are down to 185 books on the TBR, so slowly but surely getting there. It'll take a couple months to shrink us down to the full 150, and then I can go buy books if I want to, but hopefully I can be more mindful of my spending and stuff like that too. Anyway, so that's another goal. Then we have Read 10 series, so of course I would love to complete a series this month, if not 2. I do have plans to read an entire series this month and also an entire duology this month and also potentially finish another series this month. They're very lofty plans, so we will talk about the TBR, but for now, at least one. I want to read 5 translated books. I have these little boxes here. It would be really cool to read a translated book this month, but I don't have any on my physical TBR, so we'll see. And then, of course, number 6, read a 50-50 ratio of BIPOC authors to white authors, but hopefully that is actually a more than 50-50 ratio of BIPOC authors over white authors. I just want to make sure I'm hitting 50-50 every month at least, so I go forward mindfully. So my alarm for my sourdough just started to go off, so I'm going to get that out of the oven, and then I'm going to talk over the TBR with you guys, but welcome to the vlog. Let's start January and let's start 2026 off right. We're gonna leave that in for another 5 minutes. Hopefully it'll work. But for now, let me take you over to my child's cat tree, who's currently right there. Hi, baby. And we will talk about the books that I hope to read this month because I have them set up on my mantle, of course, because my fireplace mantle it's books, because of course it is. So, number 1, the first series that I want to actively read in this month is The Surviving Sky by Kurtika Rao. I actually really want to start this like today. So, hopefully when I get home from work later, this is going to be what I pick up and start reading. I have read this before, so this is a reread. This is going to be one of my like reread the first book, then read the rest of the series kind of situation. So, that means all of these are on my TBR. This is The Surviving Sky. Book 2 is The Unrelenting Earth. And then book 3 is The Enduring Universe, and this came out last year. So very excited to finally finish out this trilogy. I'm so excited about this because when I read The Surviving Sky in 2023 or 2024, yeah, we'll say it's 2024. Time is a soup. I fucking loved this. I gave it 4.5 stars, and it was an almost favorite of the year, and I read it right early in the beginning of the year. So we'll see how these work. I'm so excited about that. I will go over my physical TBR first off of like my shelves, and then I have a couple library books that I would love to read this month as well. So I would like to preface this stack by I am just preparing for any situation at all. These are the plans. Are they going to be executed? Who's to say? This first one is the other series that I could be finishing, which is Red Tempest Brother by Hannah Long. This was on my list for December, but I kind of just fell out of the mood for it. So maybe this month, hopefully, because this would be an easy just read this book and it would finish a series kind of a thing, because I only need to read this book because I have reread Darkwater Daughter twice. Black Tide Sun was last year at some point. So anyways, I would also like to read Octavia Butler's Dawn this month. I just want to read more Octavia E. Butler, so Dawn is on my list. I also have Wild Seed somewhere. It's over there. But it's not part of this TBR for some reason. I don't know. I would also like to read The Princess Knight this month if my friend Allie is up for a buddy read, because I did buy this for her for Christmas and her birthday. So hopefully we can do a buddy read, because we did a buddy read last year and it was so fun. So love this. We read Principle of Moments, which was my first 5-star of the year. So there's that. These 2 here are library books, so I'm going to put them down. We also have a potential in Jedediah Barry's The Naming Song. This just seems like such a January read for me because, I don't know, like it just seems a little bit more speculative leaning, mysterious. I don't know, but it's blurbed by Erin Morgenstern on the back, who is the author of The Starless Sea, one of my favorite books of all time. And it says, a masterful, marvel-filled journey of language and ghosts, of monsters and meaning and mystery. So I'm kind of interested in that bad boy. We also have The Sacred Space Between by Callie Reed. And this is a new release from the end of last year that I just think sounds so cool. And my friend Sophia is reading it currently, or was reading it. I don't know if she finished it, but she said that it kind of gave the same yearning, slower churning fantasy vibes that The Second Death of Locke was giving. So I'm into that, and it feels like a January read to me. Also have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which I originally said felt like a November read. And then in my head, I was like, maybe a January read. I just skipped over December entirely. So hopefully I get to this one, but it does feel like a winter read to me. So I would love to read it this month because this is the winteriest of winter months. And then finally, The Tainted Con by Taran Matharu, because last year I started the year with Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. So I felt like it was probably a good idea to do the second one in that series, like imminently, because I also really want to read it and I'm excited about it. So that's my list of physical books off my TBR. And then the couple library books that I have, this one is an entire series, which is this duology. Unseelie by Ivelisse Houseman and also Unending by Ivelisse Houseman. This duology comes highly recommended by my friend Allie, who I mentioned earlier, who is the Buddy Read one. Yes, it's a YA series, but it's also highly recommended by Allie, so I have high hopes in it. But like also medium hopes, because YA and I don't really dive all that much. My sourdough timer is going off again, so I gotta chat a little quicker. But yes, I'm excited about this. And it's also Latinx and autistic rep and all that kind of stuff. So love this, full of rep. And then quite possibly the one I'm most excited about, and it would be the first book that I buy if I didn't have it from the library, is The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. Because Lady Nights. I've seen so many people obsessed with this, and it's making me so excited to read this. So realistically, I'm going to be reading The Surviving Sky and then this one, because I really want to read this one. Like, it's like, I just want to know. I want to know why everyone's excited and obsessed with this. And so, I don't know. But this lineup is crazy. Like, there's some books in here that genuinely have the possibility of being favorites of mine. We will see how January turns out. But yes, we don't have any translated work on this list, as I mentioned. I don't actually think I have any translated work on my shelves. So that's going to be something that I do have to investigate a little bit more, find through my library and that kind of a thing. So if you have any recommendations for translated pieces of fiction, fantasy, that whole thing, please leave them down below in the comments. I have read Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I'm not a really big fan of that series, but I really enjoyed Watermoon by Samantha Sotomayor, which is not translated, but like that level of like magical realism. And then like Mie Lee's The Jallargat Dream Department and Dream Making District. Like those two books, that I really like. So if you have translated work that falls kind of in those like weird mystical areas, definitely leave them down below. Or even like mystery or crime. I'm open. Just recommend things to me. I would love it. Anyways, I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna go get my sourdough out of the oven. But this is the reading plans for January. We're gonna see what happens. I have very little actual concrete plans for anything crazy this month. It's just January. We are just surviving. Fingers crossed that it works. Anyways, my friends, lots of library books, lots of physical books. We shall see. Sourdough. I'll chat to you guys later. Sexy. Hello, friends. It is officially like January 23rd or some shit like that. I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? It is the 23rd. I was correct. Hello. I am here to pop in with some updates because I have not talked to you for so long, my guys. Oh my God. But first I gotta do my stretch and folds for my sourdough. So I figured I would just pop you there. This is why I have you on a tripod. We love this. I have read 4 books this month. I want to read so many things, but because I have a lot of books, I have a couple books that I really need and have to be reading, thus my reading has slowed to a halt. So I finished last night my 4th book that I can't even count on Storygraph or Goodreads because it is my friend Sophie's book that she is having us read draft 3 of, and we are all doing like a book club on Sunday for it. So I had to finish that. It was 181 pages and I struggled because my brain does not like doing like beta reads or critiques or anything because I just want to edit and fix, and it's just my brain is unnecessarily mean. It was not a fun experience for me, but it is done. Happy about that because now I can go on to the next thing that I have to read, that I have to get done, which is the arc for Our Rogue Fates by Sarah Glenn Marsh, because I'm part of the street team for that. And my friend Allie, who's also on the street team, who's like one of the mods and stuff, she's friends with Sarah Glenn Marsh. She messaged me and she goes, "Hey Bestie, you have like 10 days to finish this book." And I was like, "What do you mean? I thought I had January and February to read this," because that's for some reason what was in my head. And she goes, "No, to be part of the street team, they wanted you to have it done by this date, which is the end of January, and you know, all this kind of stuff." So I was like, well, fuck. So now I have to read that faster than I anticipated. So I'm gonna have to read that arc. Another book, Sans audiobook, which is really testing my ability to focus. Let me just say. So yes, I do have to read an arc. This weekend that's going to be my goal, is to try finish that arc. I do have 7 days now to finish it, so there's that. Start and finish, because I have not started it. But the 4 books that I have already read in January are God Touched, which I read. I believe I finished it before I started this vlog because it was a carryover from last year. And then I finished Unseelie by Ively's Houseman, which I have since returned to the library, which was good. I gave it 4 stars because the majority of this book was really, really good. It was really well paced. It was really well plotted. I really liked the characters. The neurodivergent rep was wonderful. I liked the story. I liked the lore. And then like the last 20% kind of derailed a little bit. So dropped it to a 4 star rather than like a 4.5 or something. That one was good. I don't know. I like thinking back to it, it's probably a 3.5. I do, because the ending pissed me off enough that I was like, maybe I should drop it a little more, but I'm keeping it at a 4 because I feel like my idea of it is going to change once I read the second book. So that is on my TBR. I do have that out from the library and also off of Libby. So I have the audiobook for it. I can read it whenever I want. I just need to read the arc first because I can't let anything get in the way of that. So that was the second book I read. The third book I picked up was The Surviving Sky by Kritika Rao. This was my first 5-star of the year. This was a reread, of course. This is the first book of the Rages trilogy, and I fucking loved this reread. It was so phenomenal. I waxed poetic about this book in a recent reading vlog, so I won't talk too much about it, but I loved being back in this world. I loved annotating it. I loved being, like, you know, full big brain on this one because I also started a media journal specifically so I could have something to where I could like write my thoughts down as I was reading things, because I think I need to just be more aware of what I'm reading and more present with what I'm reading. And I also needed a spot where I could just, you know, write rambly thoughts about the books that I am devouring. So the first one in this book is The Surviving Sky, because I ended up getting this media journal after doing a couple notes for Unseelie and the beginning of The Surviving Sky in my actual reading journal. So I have this quadrant finally filled. I can move on to the next quadrant. But I realized when I was filling this out that this one page of notes that I've allocated myself was not enough for 4 books, because this is 2 where I stopped here, or maybe like 2.5, because I did mention The Surviving Sky in here, but I mostly just talked about Unseelie and The Godcatcher on this page. So I wanted another space where I could have a little bit more, not necessarily unlimited space, but more space to just yap. And I yapped. I definitely did yap a little bit. And I'm going to get like cover thumbnails and stuff printed out for this so I can pop them in the corner. And then I did like my little The Surviving Sky stamp. And then I did get a stamp recently that is a little 5-star stamp. So I could like do this in the corners of these and like fill in the ratings if I wanted to. I just thought that was fun. And I also got these black cat stickers, which you'll see. They look like little soot sprays. And I've just been putting them everywhere because I find them so funny. Anyway, so I have The Surviving Sky. I loved that book and I'm so excited to get into the second one. And I'm going to, after I finish the arc for Our Rogue Fates, because I want to get into that series. I want to finish that series. I want to finish Unseelie's, that duology. I have so many library books that I want to be reading right now. I have Red City by Marie Lu that's out, that so many people love, and I'm so excited to get into. I have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow that I still want to read. Like, I'm desperate. I'm not giving that book back to the library until I read it. Like, it's one of those that I'm just gonna keep it until I read that book. And I have the newest T. Kingfisher, Snake Eater, as well, out from the library. I have a nonfiction out from the library that I really want to start. That is Jane Austen's bookshelf that was featured in Kayla from Books and Lala. Featured in one of her videos about the Goodreads reading challenge last year. Like, it was one of the nonfiction she read. Anyways, I was really intrigued by the idea of that book, so I got it out from the library. And I also have the audiobook out from the library right now. So many things. I could read so many things right now, and yet I've only read 4 books because I have to read Sophie's book because she would have eaten me if I didn't. And I have to read this arc. And then I also have to start in on Wuthering Heights because our book club for Wuthering Heights is coming up on the 13th of February. So I do have a little bit of time for that one. And I do feel like I can probably like push myself to get through that book quite a little bit faster, even though I haven't read a classic in a really long time. It's a classic book that I have not loved, and I DNF'd in the past. So I'm not super excited to get into it, but I am excited to get into it now that I am older, I am more versed in my reading and all this kind of stuff. And I haven't read a classic in a while. Like, I kind of want to get back to it, and I want to see what this story really is all about, you know, because I only got halfway through. And then we're gonna watch the movie Valentine's Day weekend with my friends. Not on Valentine's Day, but probably on the 15th. Hopefully we'll get tickets for that. But my whole friend group is doing like a book club for it, and then we're gonna watch the movie, etc. So that's gonna be really, really fun. But that's probably gonna be February's focus, because right now we are finishing our Rogue Fates, starting and finishing our Rogue Fates, which I'm very excited about. I don't know, like, it just, the idea of reading a book without an audiobook right now, my mind feels like it's walking through mud. It's good to do, for me anyways, every once in a while to like branch out and actually read things without an audiobook, to like actually see if I can read without the help of an audiobook sometimes, because I fear losing that ability to actually focus through a book myself, even though I love tandem reading more than anything in this world, because it's just so immersive and it's just my favorite way of consuming stories. So anyways, that is what we're going to be reading next. I just want to pop in and give you an update on these 4 books that I read. We have Godcatcher, which was 3.5 stars, Unseelie, which was 4 stars, The Surviving Sky, which was moved from a 4.5 to a 5 star, and then we have Sophie's book, Rules for Haunting, which is getting no rating because it is a draft and it's not a completed work. I can't rate that, you know what I mean? So it's getting no rating and all that kind of stuff. But I also need to do the book blanket square for it, which is really, really interesting because I have started a book blanket. I have 3 squares done already. I realized as I was pulling all these colors in, I realized that I actually combined thriller, mystery, and horror all together into one color. So I had an extra color in my bag that I ordered that I don't know what to do with. And then today I was like, wait, if I don't rate a book, which I don't rate nonfictions, and if I want to read a couple more nonfictions, then I can do this one as my like non-rate, like it's a no rating kind of a situation. Because I didn't want to give it like the same color as like a 1-star DNF, because that felt wrong. So it was like, I need an extra color for non-rating. So I have one now and it's the more blue of all of them, which is really interesting. So I am going to do that. I'm going to make my little square for the book blanket. I love this page also. I got like a bunch of printouts from Staples done, and I did the printout of the 2 different squares so I know which ones are which for the owned books versus the library books. And I love my little tape city of all the different yarns. Anyway, so I have to do that. But I wanted to talk about also just a little bit of like my journaling and situation with the books that I've been reading, because I've also picked up a book recently called Butter by Asako Yuzuki. It is translated by Polly Barton. It is a translated work from Japanese, I believe. It is such a, it's such a slow, methodical kind of book that is very slice of life. Nothing really happens in it. And it's about this very slow obsession with our main character, who is a journalist, with a female serial killer, alleged, who allegedly killed her partners, a bunch of different partners, in the span of like 6 months and all this kind of stuff. And the serial killer is a foodie. She loves food and she has a blog about food. And she's also a little bit more soft, more round, more curvaceous of a woman, which in the Japanese society at this point in time, and modern society as well, and also is it is very akin to the American society of like thinness is beauty. And there's so much casual misogyny in here, fat phobia and all this kind of stuff, because of the men in the book. They're so fucking rude. And they just will comment on women's bodies no matter what. And they don't understand why the serial killer was lovable and like why so many men were like down to marry her because she's fat. And all these men are like, why? She's disgusting. And it's this whole thing. But our main character is obsessed with her and starts becoming obsessed with the food that they start talking about. It is a very big literary fiction. And it is taking me so long to read. So long that my audiobook hold ran out. And so I have taken a tiny break from that one. I'm 51% of the way through. I am enjoying it, which is interesting because like the writing is so lovely. Also, like, look at all my thoughts. Like, I'm halfway through the book and this is all the thoughts I have. Gorgina. Like, I've been pulling quotes and stuff like that. If you notice, like, some of the different colors, like those are the quotes that I've pulled. Like, if I have thoughts about a quote, big brain. But I've been absolutely loving the idea of a media journal and taking my thoughts of something and putting it somewhere and not worrying about spoilers in a book review or anything, because this is just for me and it's my thoughts and my speculations about the book, or like just like the whole thing of like that the men are so terrible. Like there's a couple quotes that the first one was at 4% that I have here. All the victims were single men between 40 and 70, based in the capital, whom she had met through dating sites and who were serious about marrying her. So that's like our serial killer situation. And then at 8%, this was all it took, she thought, to experience a sense of satisfaction of a kind she'd not had before. To make something yourself that you wanted to eat and eat it the way you wanted. Was that the very essence of gratification? So that's the first moment that our main character makes some of the food that our killer, Haji, I think her name is, tells her to make. It's like the most simple dish, but it's using real ingredients, real butter, and it's just like she completely falls in love with it, and it's like she's actually eating for the first time. Then we have another one, which I don't remember where it was because I didn't write down the percentage, but there's this man who our main character's dating. After our main character starts gaining a little bit of weight because she's actually eating for the first time. And he says, "I'm being deliberately harsh when I say this, but for the record, I definitely don't think it's a good idea for you to put on weight. I haven't got fixed ideas about the way women should look or anything, but if people around you think you're not making an effort, you'll lose their respect." So this man who has no fixed ideas on how women should look thinks that if she puts on weight, she's going to be considered lazy and like not worthy of respect. That kind of a thing. Like, it's a really interesting examination of the misogyny around weight and women and their bodies and this kind of a thing. So I will go back to this once I get my audiobook back for Butter, but that's something that I've been reading. And then I have, of course, Sophie's books on this page, all my thoughts on that, literally chapter by chapter, because I wanted to actually give her proper brain for things. So it is there for that reason. God. You know, actual brain thoughts for Sophie as I was reading her book. And it was also a way of like using the way that my brain would not shut up, because it's mean when I have beta reads and stuff like that to do. It's why I don't do critiques or beta reads anymore, because I can't do it. I become so mean. Like it's not good. I can't do it for my own brain. But because I have this and then I had this notebook next to me, I got to write down all my thoughts a little bit more just raw and blatant. It was nice to have this book to actually write in. And I have a section at the back, which if you saw one of my latest reading vlogs, I did talk about. I'm currently stamping in the name of the title because I forgot to do that. There's a section at the back of this book that is for other stuff, like extras. And I did one page and it was about the Animal Crossing update and how I love that everyone is so excited about the Animal Crossing update, because I think there's something so genuinely lovely about the internet coming together in something of like around joy, because yeah, the internet does band together a lot for different things. Like we band together against the terrible things happening in Palestine and, you know, fuck ICE and all that kind of stuff. Like the internet does band together a lot in different capacities surrounding different like tragedies and things like that. So, but there's a difference when it's around something that is literally as harmless as a TV show, like Heated Rivalry, and seeing how the internet just like fucking exploded with joy over that. And then the Animal Crossing update, seeing how many people are picking that back up and like genuinely having so much fun with it. It's just so nice. It's so lovely to see the joy in that again. So I love when the internet comes together for moments of joy. Anyways, so I did that at the back. But that back section is going to be for movies and podcasts and whatever the fuck else I want to talk about if I have ideas about anything. And I didn't realize how long of a title this was. There's lots of letters. Rules for haunting. Anyways, I just thought I'd update you guys on this and all that kind of stuff. So, because I have not talked to you in a long time in January. I've been so terrible about keeping this vlog updated, which happens, of course. I have other weekend vlogs that come in place of it, but yeah, I think January's reading has been very, very slow, which I'm not a fan of, but I also have been enjoying it a little bit with some of the books, at least like with Surviving Sky, especially because of the way that I was so into it and the annotations and the writing the notes and all that kind of stuff. I've been really enjoying having this media journal, and it's been keeping me a little bit more sane having all my different journals. I think I have 5 journals now. I've updated my my journal ecosystem to 5, which is, yeah, absolutely insane. Don't worry about it. I have my planner and my reading journal, which are the usuals, planner and reading journal. And then I have my 1 line a day journal, which I've been carrying on for over a year now, which is really exciting. And then I have my junk journal, which has been, like the highlight of my evenings whenever I get the bug to do some scrapbooking. And I have to like slow myself down a little bit right now because I just want to keep scrapbooking, because I just want to like throw things on a page. And I have also been writing and doing like actual journaling too, but like it's just so nice to shut my brain off a little bit and do spreads and put things down. Like the other day I did this one and I'm so proud of it. Like, oh my God. I'm just like, I love this page. I love this page so much. It just makes me so happy. And I did get a lot of like printouts from Staples the other day. So I have a bunch of other things that I want to like actual journal with. Like I literally went on Pinterest and just started printing off pictures, putting them all in a Canva template so I could put them all in a journal somehow and journal with them in some kind of a way. So that's what I've been doing with that, because I think it's fun to have like the pictures that I love so much off of Pinterest that I've been saving in a mood board fodder space. It's been actually so fun to play with them in real life. Anyways, I wanted to sit down and do this update. So I'm done my work day now. It's almost 5 and I'm going to go sit on my couch and I'm going to do the book blanket square for Sophie's book. And then I'm going to start our Rogue Fates and see how far I can get in that tonight. Hopefully I can just fall right into it. And it's gonna be a good time. But I'm also gonna play some Animal Crossing, so I've got back on that bag and it's gonna be a great time. So that has been my January so far. Lots of like not really reading, but also when I am reading, I'm like engaging contextually with the text and all that kind of stuff. So I love that so much. Haven't really hit any of the goals that I wanted to for this year. Like I love to start January with like actually hitting goals and stuff like that, like reading translated books and finishing series and all this kind of stuff. But I am working towards those goals with the books that I am reading. So there is that. And the majority of the books that I have read, actually no, I can't say that because Sophie is white, but it has been a 50-50 split for BIPOC books versus white books. So I'm excited about that. But all the books that I really want to be reading right now are all BIPOC books. So I just need to get to them. Except for Our Rogue Fates. That one is by a white woman. So we will have to balance that with another person of color to keep that balance. Butter, of course, is by a Japanese woman. So that counts for that. But yeah, I like to keep January very goal forward for my reading. That's the update, my friends. I will come back when I have more to say. But yes, I hope you're enjoying the vlog so far. Let me know down below what you are currently reading and if you are enjoying it. Oh my God, hello friends. I just finished filming today's video, or tomorrow's video, I guess. Let me just put you there. Hello. While I somewhat figure out my shit. Hi! It is officially January 29th, and I have only read one more book since talking to you. So I have not read 5 books in January, and I am currently reading 2, although my audiobook for one of them did just vanish. I guess I'm currently reading 3, because I have Butter as well. I would love to finish Butter, and also the one that I'm currently reading, which is Red City by Marie Lu. I started that one last night. It's interesting so far. I am enjoying it. I think it's reminding me a lot of, I really want to say Chloe Long, but I don't know if that's her or not. One of the original first books, I can't remember what it's called, that Chloe wrote with the like Romeo and Juliet vibes of 2 kind of people on the street. I hated that book by Chloe Long. I think it was by Chloe Long. I really don't know. I can't remember. I'll put it on the screen if I can find it and remember. But it's reminding me a lot of that, but done better. And I know one of the comps is Jade City by Fonda Lee because of the gangs and the family dynamics, or not necessarily family dynamics, but the gangs and the power and, you know, that like the syndicate level stuff. It's, you know, reminding me a lot of that too. So it's all right. I am enjoying it. It's definitely slow. And it's also because I'm on Kobo reading with the audiobook, and Kobo, for some goddamn reason, decided to take away any speeds on audiobook faster than 2 times speed. So now I'm stuck listening to it at 2 times speed, and it feels like I'm listening to people just talk normally. And it feels slow, which is not my favorite thing. I know this book is also like genuine. People have been saying that it's quite slow. Like it's not like necessarily like a super fast-paced, high octane book. It builds. Right? So I'm not necessarily looking for it to be super fast, but anyways, that is what I'm currently reading. I would like to get a good chunk of that done tonight, maybe. It is Thursday. But yeah, we have, I think, 2 days left other than today, so 30th and 31st in January to do any reading. So I would like to not only finish this one, I would like to also finish Butter, because I got my audiobook back for that one. And that would be great because then that would also tick off a translated book off of my goals list. And I also realized that I have read exactly one book off of my physical TBR in January. One. Everything else has been ebook, ARC, or library book. So that's a little unfortunate. I really should read my own physical fucking TBR or a reread, Surviving Sky. But we shall see what I end up reading. But yes, I just filmed a video. I also got back from physio and didn't change. I just took off my jeans so I could sit comfortably. So I'm gonna go heat my knee, but I gotta figure out what I want to eat for dinner first. But I just wanted to update you. Also, here's the bean. Being an absolute cutie patootie. Rubbing her face on my computer screen. I have my ring light up too, so that's why. She bright, she dynamic. So far, I have read Godcatcher, The Surviving Sky, Sophie's book, and last time I talked to you, I was getting ready to read Our Rogue Fates, and that went fucking terribly. So I'm really hoping that I read a book that turns around. And here's the thing. I want to read The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, and that's also just another fucking library book, so it's not even on my TBR of like physical TBR vibes that I could then take off the TBR. Y'all, I have so many things that I want to be reading, and like 95% of them are fucking library books right now, but it's okay. We'll get back to it. I also really want to reread Empire of Exiles right now. I really do. I think it's gonna like do something for me with Sage's story. So I'm itching to reread it. So we'll see what I end up doing this weekend, what I end up reading. But yes, 5 books down. Is that correct? That feels wrong. What the fuck else did I read? Now I'm second guessing myself. What the fuck else did I read? Oh, right. Unseelie. I forgot about Unseelie. The other book that I'm currently reading, I'm like 45 pages into, was Unending before that library audiobook hold got taken away from me. I would like to also finish that at some point. Hopefully that audiobook comes back quickly so that I can continue reading that, but I was only like 45 pages into it, but it was better than the last chunk of Unseelie was. So Unending by Ivelisse Houseman, Red City by Marie Lu, and also Butter by Asako. Oh, I don't remember her last name. Asako something. I keep wanting to say like Yuzuki, but I don't know if that's correct or not. Anyway, so those are the ones that I'm currently reading. Up next would be The Everlasting or The Unrelenting Earth, or a reread of Empire of Exiles. Low key, I'm like this close to doing a reread of Empire of Exiles like right now, because I know I can power through that really quickly, but I want to read it to like jumpstart something in my brain for Sage's story. But yeah, so we're starting January off not fantastically. Like I would like to be reading much more than I am, obviously, having only read 5 books, and I keep saying like my average is like 10 a month. It has not been that for many months. So maybe the average is now 8 a month, 7 a month. But I would like to get back up to that. I would like to be able to just pop off a couple books in a weekend and get back into my reading groove. I have so many arcs that I want to read. I got approved for 2 more arcs today because I, of course, went on to NetGalley and had a little peruse against my own better mindset. And that is, I got Aicha by Soraya. Her last name has a lot of Z's and Ui's. Buzanui, I think? I'm not sure. I got Aicha. I'm so excited about that. I also got an Ode to the Half Broken, which is a sci-fi that I'm really excited about that's coming out in April. So those are a March and April release. I would really like to get to both of those arcs in April-March vibe. Arc-wise, I don't have anything else that I need to read. I do have other arcs that I need to get to that I haven't yet read, of course, if you've seen my giant list in here of my 2025 arcs. And then the beginning of January, I got 2 arcs that I haven't read. March, 2 arcs I haven't read. And then April, I have 3 arcs that I haven't read. Anyways, my friends, just thought I'd do a little update because it's been a while since I talked to you. But we're almost at the end of January. Let's see what else I can squeeze in. Hopefully at least 1 more book, maybe 2 if I'm feeling ambitious. And I'm feeling a little ambitious, so let's see. Oh my god, hey friends. It's officially February 2nd today. I wanted to pop in and officially close out this vlog and do little chatty things because guess what? I DNF'd a book at the end of January. I DNF'd Red City by Marie Lu because I had reached part 2 and then I decided I was going to give it another shot. I was going to give it a little bit more time because I was 30% of the way through it and I wanted to give it another little chunk of time just to make my decision because I had had 2 1.5 stars in a row and also had read my friend's book, which wasn't a very pleasant reading experience for me personally. Not that the book was bad, just a bad reading experience, because I think I explained in many different reading vlogs that reading a draft, I really don't like doing beta reads. I really don't like doing critique partner reads because my brain just is so mean and then I can't turn that off. And it's not a good time. It's not a good time for me. Anyways, so 3 in a row, what kind of bad reading experiences. And then I was going into Red City. Red City was very slow. I wasn't really connecting with any of the characters. I didn't care about any of the characters. And I explained in my reading vlog that's going up February 3rd that the characters felt like set pieces because everything was happening to them at the beginning of the book. They weren't doing anything. Like, they weren't making the plot go forward. They weren't making choices. It was just a lot of things happening to them, and that drives me nuts. It's kind of like rudimentary, not to do with your, like, do not do this with your characters. Like, things have to happen where they are making choices and moving the shit forward because they are the main characters. They're supposed to drive shit forward. And sure, there were like little things that they might have been choosing to do, but it was also because they were pushed to desperation by the plot. Like, they were pushed to make these choices, and it was just like, that's the only choice they could make. So it felt like they were just being moved like set pieces by the author. Anyways, go watch that vlog if you want more insight on that. But yeah, I didn't connect with any of the characters. It was really slow. And I'm starting to think that I just don't like the Romeo and Juliet trope in books, because this is like a star-crossed lovers, like rival gang type situation with alchemy, which like so many people are loving this book. And it is a slower urban fantasy that has a lot of like good roots to it, but I was bored. I didn't really care about the characters. One of the characters, Ari, was like supposed to be this super charismatic thing. Like, people were drawn to him, and I was like, why? You're not showing me why. And I get like it's supposed to be like a thing with his soul, like he becomes like a lighthouse kind of a thing, but usually people who are like that are naturally very charismatic and kind and open, and they talk to people and they're all this kind of stuff. Ari was very, very shy and nervous, and he wasn't that, and he wasn't very charismatic to me at all, so I didn't understand that at all. And then like our other character was supposed to be this like super invisible girl that no one ever looked at, and then whenever she was described, especially in her like adult persona, she to me would be the most interesting person in the room because she looks so visually interesting when she's described, right? Like she's changed her hair to this like silver, and she's like doing all this stuff, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, how is she passing unnoticed? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I didn't really get that, and I was bored. I didn't care about the characters, and so I was like, you know what? Like, this book probably would get like a 3-star at the end of it if I had finished it all the way through, and I didn't want that. I didn't want to come off of two 1.5-star books in a row. I wanted something that was really good and really catching me, so I just decided to DNF it. And maybe one day I'll come back to it, but like I'm just not that interested in it. But I do recommend it if you love an urban fantasy, if you love that like yearny, angsty, star-crossed lovers type situation with interesting magic and stuff like that. Like, it's interesting, but it just didn't do anything for me, so DNF'd it. Ended January with starting it with a 3.5-star with Godcatcher. And then we had a 4-star with Unseelie, which technically is kind of a 3.5-star now that I'm like really thinking about it, but it's fine. 4 stars fine. A fine rating for it. And then we had the reread, The Surviving Sky, which was a 5-star. And then we went into my friend's book, which I didn't rate. And then we had the 1.5-star with Our Rogue Fates, and then another 1.5-star with Butter. Things were interesting. But don't worry, because February started with a 5-star banger reread of Empire of Exiles, because I just needed to reset my shit. And it was a really great time. So that's fine. Goal-wise, with everything that was going on in January, let's take a look at my reading journal and all my goals and stuff, because that was the point. Usually when I do when I do these like January reading vlogs, when I do them, i.e. this is the second one that I've done. But I've gone through them with the point of wanting to start January strong with my goals and my thoughts and everything. Also, I did my February reading journal spread situation last night. Love that. So my goals, of course, were to read a bunch of different shit. So we had read 25 sci-fi books. I didn't read a single one in January, so I do need to read some in February to like kickstart that. Read 75 physical TBR books. I read one, which is really bad. I read so many ebooks and library books. Yikes. So February, we're going to be doing something different. I have plans to do like a set number of TBR side quest episodes where I'm like focusing specifically on getting that TBR down in February. So that's a plan. Read 10 series. I didn't finish a series in January, but I did read towards finishing some series. So I restarted my Surviving Sky, or I reread the Surviving Sky to thus finish that series. I did want to finish that series in January, but that's fine. Reading just wasn't there for me in January, as we know. And then I also read Unseelie because I wanted to then finish the duology with Unending. So that'll be in February. So hopefully in February I have 2 series down to make up for that. Read 5 translated books. I did read one, even though it was a 1.5 star and I really fucking hated it. I read Butter. Beautiful translation. Beautiful translation. Like the writing was absolutely stunning. That was the best part of it. So there's that. And then of course, read a 50-50 ratio of BIPOC versus white authors, which I did in January. My ratio in Storygraph was 1/, because I didn't count my friend's book, right? And my friend is white. So it is a 50-50 split exactly with the books that I read in January. So yay for that. Hopefully February kind of cranks that the other way and it becomes more than a 50-50 split for reading BIPOC authors, because it is Black History Month. Anyways, so those are the goals. I didn't do great on them in January, but I did read towards a couple of them. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it, but I am mad about the fact that January was just such an abysmal reading month. Ratings wise and quality wise, it just wasn't a fun time. That last half was just not a fun time. The beginning was fine. The beginning was totally fine. Anyways, let's see how February goes, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Freya during this lovely January period. She's mad. She doesn't want to be held. I'm covered in her hair now, but thank you so much for being here. I love you guys very deeply. And I'll catch you in another video very soon. Let's see what February has to hold. Stay kind and keep on reading.